and he's very kindly agreed to come and talk to us all today, which I think he's very generous to share your thoughts, ideas and impulses with us. So Simon McAuley, everyone.
No pressure. Hello, my name's Simon McAuley. First of all, before I start, I'd just like to say thank you to Lauren and Jim and Celine and John and everyone who made possible this exhibition, the catalogue, the collaboration with Lauren. So thank you to those people. And I'd just like to say a little bit about myself first of all. I'm an artist in the, I better move that cake because I'm going to eat it. I'm an artist in the third floor studios in the Reconnect programme. Used to be called Connect, now it's Reconnect. I've been practicing there for a number of years. I've taken part in many opportunities, including exhibitions, numerous exhibitions, residencies, 3 residencies upstairs, and most recently helped John and Lee curate the last show, which was in the gallery here. It was part of the Outside In exhibition series, and that was a great opportunity to do. I also took part in a 3-week residency in Wales in July of this year, and that was in a small town called Llandrindod, Wales, which I'll now call Landod from now on because I can't pronounce it, and nobody can pronounce it down there either. So they all call it Landod as well. So I don't feel really guilty about it. So I'll call it Landod. Anyway, this this residency will be the focus of the talk today. I'll be showing you pictures which were made in Wales and which appeared on the Photo Diary blog on the Projectability website. Some pictures which are made in Wales but which didn't feature on the blog, and other pictures which were made in Glasgow over the last 4 or 5 years. So this opportunity came up and I was wondering, well, what am I going to do? I'd been painting for a number of months, pretty solid, and thought to myself, oh God, what am I going to do? And the suggestion was that I could make some pictures, photographic pictures. So I thought, right, that's brilliant. Because I had been painting so much, it felt as though my photographic practice had been put on the back burner. And I thought, right, it's time to have a look at this. So this was great, this was ideal for me. I should say that I have a number of projects running in Scotland, some of which I'll mention as I go along, but this one belongs to a series of, a sort of category of pictures called Lampposts, and it's photographs of lampposts. So this whole Wales thing was getting closer and closer, and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And I thought, right, where's my photographic practice at? You know, what am I going to, what kind of approach am I going to take to this? And so I thought, well, I'll probably be taking projects with me, travelling with my projects, but I thought I might be doing something new as well. So this was a picture made just before going to Wales. It was about a week before, I think, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to do and what kind of work I'm going to do there. So I get to Wales. This is the first picture I made in Wales. I just met the people at Celfo Gwympus, which translates as Arts in the Round. They're a very small organisation. They've got a studio complex, a gallery, and accommodation for resident artists. And that's where I was staying. I was staying in this accommodation. Another lamppost picture. This one is made in Wales, so I was actually taking some of the projects I had undertaken in Scotland with me. another project which I kind of dip in and out of. This is a picture made in Wales, but it's a project of photographing hedgerows. This picture was, I think it was made on the second day, and just to the right-hand side of those trees, I had just seen some large birds flying, and I thought they were eagles, and it turns out they were probably red kites. But this was an important picture for me to make. I often make pictures of country roads and lanes, but there was a bit more to this picture. Those birds sort of became a key notion for the whole trip, the whole 3 weeks while I was in Wales. And they seemed to be, I had seen them hovering, and that's what the whole sort of idea seemed to be about for Wales, was this notion of something flying over your head, or flight, or drifting above ground. And it's a lamppost picture. Glasgow, lampposts with trees. This is a rare picture for me because it's a photograph of, it's a project that I have of photographing waste ground. It also has a lamppost in it. It's a bit there, I think. Yeah, as I say, I don't often get to make them, but every now and again, every couple of years or so, or even longer, I get to make a picture of waste ground. A project I have running is country parks, where on the fringes of country parks, which kind of give way to more, well, sort of less managed terrain. This picture was made while I had done a walk this day with my practice support artist, Lois, and we had done this walk around 3 reservoirs. It was called the Ellen Valley Walk. And I was still thinking about these birds. The thing was hovering above me, and so it was a roasting hot day, and we stopped at this little bridge, and it was in the shade, and you could sort of hang your feet over the edge, and there was a stream, really cool stream coming down. And so I made a picture here with my very much focused on these things which are flying above me. It was made in the same spot. Back in the town of Landod, another project I have running is photographing unusual road markings or signs, and someone said to me, this feels as if you're kind of, it's almost like a runway in a way, you know, it's about flight, so it fitted in with what I was doing, with these ideas hovering above me. I also began to simplify my picture making when I was in Wales, and part of what helped with that was the square format. As things started to make so much sense, I didn't have to struggle so much with that sort of rectangular format. It's very kind of, you need to sort of start making decisions about that rather than what's in front of you, what's before me. So I started making pictures which were two things which were interesting me, and trying not to say everything in the one photograph. Again, things flying above my head, and this became a sort of guiding notion for that whole trip, for the whole 3 weeks while I was there. This picture was made just above town. There was a hill to the east which rose quite high, quite steep, and there was a little churchyard there, and it became a sort of point for me, a focal point for me to make pictures. Whenever I had free time, that's kind of where I went. I did have quite a lot of free time, so I went there quite a lot. A project I have running in Scotland is photographing the edges of forestry plantations. And I've made a series of pictures which are about that. I prefer it if the space in front of the forestry plantation is colonised by species whatever they are, whether they're indigenous or whether they're kind of new species. So that became, one thing became clear was that I was trying not, I won't try and see everything in one photograph. I'll try and kind of focus on the thing that's before me, the thing that's before me that's interesting me, whether it's a relationship thing or whether it's, you know, just something that grabs my attention. And also to think about what was above my head. Again, this picture was made just at the top of that little hill, just outside town. This lane comes off a road, and the road's called Seflin's Way, and it's a route that I took a number of times on bike and by foot. I came down this little track, and that's the direction that I'd come from. And just behind me, when I was making the picture, was a little house, and the little house was called Glencoe. This is back in Scotland. So a number of things came out of the whole kind of trip to Wales. Simplify the technology as well. Simplify the format. Simplify as much as possible. And in that way, I'm able to respond more. I'm able to use my hands more. It kind of frees up that sort of dexterity for making pictures. So it was great to have these photographs published, some of them published online, and it was fantastic to have them published in the catalogue which accompanies this show. So whether I'll continue with the projects that I have undertaken, I don't know yet. But it's been important. It is important for me to have these pictures published. And this is the last picture which I made in Wales. It's a view from the front of the accommodation. It's looking across the street to that is what's across the street from it, and it's a piece of waste ground, and there's a lamppost in there, and that's also the edges of a country park. So that was my trip to Wales. The publication of pictures on the web was a motivation for me to get my photographic practice together a bit, which I feel as if I've done. So thanks very much for listening, and I don't know if there's any questions, easy questions, like, I don't know, can you eat cake? And I'll say yes.